Hello everyone, my name is Salina binti Ali from class 5B and my metric number is 30DLS22F1058. Today I will be presenting about freight operations. What is freight operation? Freight operation refers to the process of moving goods from one place to another. This includes everything enveloped in shipping such as handling, transporting, and delivering cargo. It can envelop different modes of transport like trucks, trains, ships, or planes. Essentially, it's about managing the logistics to ensure that products get to their destination efficiently and safely. Currently, I'm doing an internship in forwarding department. From what I learned, forwarding and freight operation are closely related. I would like to explain what forwarding is. Number 1, forwarding department manage the movement of goods from origin to destination. Number 2, responsibility includes coordinating transportation and handling custom documentation. Number 3, they ensure goods reach their destination efficiently and on time. Number 4, arrange warehousing when necessary to facilitate smooth flow along the supply chain. Now, I will show you the organizational chart of the place where I currently doing my internship, which is Tasco Berhad. For front row, left to the right, is Freddie Lim Jui Kiat as non-independent executive director. Next, Eddie Lee Wan Kai is non-independent group chief executive officer. Next, Lee Chepo is non-independent executive chairman. Next, Norihiko Yamada is non-independent executive director. Next, Tan Kim Yong is non-independent deputy group chief executive officer. For back row, left to the right, is Datuk Dr. Wong Lan Sung is independent non-executive director. Next, Mr. David Div Peter is independent non-executive director. Lastly, Mr. Ong Heng Ka is independent non-executive director. For the next slide, I will talking about ethics in pricing component of freight industry. Ethics in the pricing component of the freight industry envelopes setting fair and transparent rates for shipping goods. It means charging customers in a way that's honest and justifiable without hidden fee or unfair practices. For instance, a company should provide clear information about how prices are calculated and avoid taking advantage of customers, especially in situations where they have limited options. Ethical pricing helps build trust and ensures that all parties are treated fairly. Next slide is aspect of international the nature of pricing competition between transport modes. Number 1, cost differences. Different transport modes have varying costs. For instance, shipping by sea is usually cheaper but slower than air freight, which is faster but more expensive. Number 2, speed vs cost. Companies must balance the speed of delivery with cost. Faster modes like air freight might be chosen for urgent shipment, while slower methods like sea freight are used for cost saving. Number 3, capacity and volume. Some modes can handle larger volumes of goods at a lower cost per unit. Shipping by sea can be more cost effective for large shipments compared to air freight. Number 4, geography and infrastructure. The choice of transport mode can depend on their origin and destination locations. Not all regions are accessible by all transport modes, which affect pricing options. Number 5, regulation and tariff. Different countries have varying regulation, tariff, and taxes that impact the cost of transport. This can influence price competition among transport modes. In essence, businesses compare these factors to choose the best transport mode that fits their budget and needs. Next slide, I will talk about price measurement. Number 1, sea freight. Prices are usually measured by weight or volume of cargo. Costs are generally lower for large shipments but may include fee for loading, unloading, and port services. Number 2, air freight. Prices are typically based on the weight and volume of the cargo. Air freight is more expensive but faster, with additional charges for speed and priority services. Number 3, rail freight. Costs are measured by the weight and distance of the shipment. It is often cheaper than air freight and good for large, heavy shipments over long distances. Lastly, truck freight. Pricing is based on weight, distances, and sometimes the size of the cargo. It's flexible for regional shipments and can be cost-effective for shorter distances. For the next slide is about relationship between price and demand. Number 1, I will talk about price increase, demand decrease. As the price of freight mode increases, demand generally decreases. Shippers will look for cheaper alternatives if available. Elasticity varies by modes. Different modes have different price sensitivities. For example, trucking generally more elastic because of the availability of alternatives like rail or shipping. Rail less elastic, especially for bulk goods, where rail is often the only practical option. Air freight very elastic because it is usually the most expensive mode. Price increase can lead to a significant drop in demand. Number 2, price decrease, demand increase. As the price decreases, demand typically increases. Shippers are more likely to use the mode of transport that offer a cost advantage. Mode specific factor. Trucking. More demand if price drop, especially for short to medium distances. Rail. An increase in demand, particularly for long distance and heavy goods. Air freight. More demand for high value, time sensitive goods are prices fall. Time sensitive goods when prices fall. Number 3, substitution effect. When prices change, if the price of one freight mode rise significantly, shippers may switch to another mode that offer a better price even if it is slower or less convenient. When was the last time you questioned whether the price you paid for something was fair? Here I will talking about key ethical issue in pricing. Number 1, price discrimination. Price discrimination is charging different customer different prices for the same service without a valid reason. Number 2, excessive pricing. Excessive pricing is setting prices unreasonably high, especially during times of demand or emergency. Number 3, price gouging. Price gouging is exploiting situation where customers have limited choices by charging excessively high prices. Number 4, unfair competitive practices. Setting prices artificially low to drive competitors out of the market, then raising them once competition is reduced. Predatory pricing. Number 5, environmental and social impact is setting price without considering the environmental or social costs. In conclusion, freight operations are essential to global trade, but they come with challenges related to pricing, demand, and ethical practices. Understanding the relationship between price and demand helps businesses make informed decisions. Ethical pricing is crucial to ensure fairness, transparency, and sustainability in the industry. Here's some recommendations. First, adopt fair pricing. Ensure pricing strategies are transparent and fair, avoiding practices like price discrimination and excessive pricing. Number 2, monitor market conditions. Regularly assess demand and adjust price responsibly, especially during high demand periods or emergency. Number 3, promote sustainability. Consider the environmental and social impact of pricing decision, encouraging the use of more sustainable freight modes when possible. Last, encourage competition. Avoid predatory pricing and support a healthy competitive environment, offering customers a range of choices.